I have a story, and it might be boring, but it's important to me. So there's a young man named Mark Myers. He is the dance supervisor of Wicked all over the world. During the pandemic, when everybody wouldn't even leave their home or their backyard, he was in Hong Kong setting another production of Wicked. He's in charge of every single piece of movement. Every head, every arm, entrance, exit, back handspring, everything. He is more valuable to the Wicked Corporation than the sets or the costumes or anything. He's now the associate choreographer, SpongeBob, If Then, on and on and on. Most recently now, he choreographed Dear Evan Hansen. When they talk about my favorite and they talk about success, he's my success story. Yes. He started dancing at 3 years old, quit when he was 4 and came back when he was 5 and never left. When he was about 11 or 12, we all went on this cruise, and then we all went to Disney World, and he couldn't go. His mom was a single mom, and she had 4 kids, and she would tell you all about it as soon as she met you. And her life was tough. She worked night turn so that she could be there to take her kids and drop them off at dance or this or that. So he had an older brother. He had 2 sisters. He was a twin. And the sisters were coming to dance class, and the mom said, you either go to dance or you go to baseball, or that's it, because I'm not driving anywhere else for him. So he came to dance class. Now, he's 11 or 12. We're all going away, and he can't go because the mom can't afford it. She didn't do all the fundraisers. She didn't take advantage of everything. She just couldn't do it. Just forget it, you're not going. So I get back in August to the studio, and he comes in, and he's turning like a top. His splits are down on both sides. This little, I'm gonna say it, dorky, geeky boy. Now, I think automatically he went somewhere else. He went to another dance studio all summer while I'm away. All the teachers in my town have summer classes. They're all there teaching, and I'm out spending my money, and they're at home making it. Should have known that, I was an idiot. Well, he shows me, I want to show you my turns. He's spinning. I want to show you my splits. Look, Abby, look, Miss Abby, look. Oh my God, Mark, that's great, that's great. He looked me in the eye and he said, you are never going away without me again. I will win a scholarship to every convention because I'm going with you. And he did. From that moment on, he won everything. And I looked at his solos. Oh, I used to say, if I had $1 for every time I looked at this routine, if I had $1 for every time I looked at his routines, I would have been a millionaire way back when. Yes. And he worked hard. And he would challenge those girls in the studio, his classmates. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And so this is the story I wanted to get to. So we were in New York City, and we were at one convention, and we went to the Marriott Marquis to watch another competition. So my kids weren't in this. We just went to watch it. It was a very prestigious competition. Sitting in front of us is Linda Haberman, and she is the choreographer, casting, whatever, for Radio City Music Hall, for the Radio City Rockettes. And she's scouting talent at this competition. We're sitting right behind her, and I'm like, you know, doing our charades, trying to explain who it is. So he is sitting on my left, right here. Another student named Asmaret Gabor-Mikhail is sitting on my right. Or maybe she's beyond him, I don't know. Mark is sitting on my left. And next to him is another student, Asmaret Gabor-Mikhail. And I say, go get your 8x10 and your resume up in the room and get it down here. You're giving it to her. And he's like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm like, get off your butt right now and go get it. Get it. No. So what do? Asmaret, go up to the room, get his picture and resume. For him, right? She brings it back down. She sits here. She comes into the row. She sits on my right. She hands it to me. He's not paying any attention. All right, I have it down here by my leg. It's his photograph, his headshot. But on the back, everybody has their resume printed, right? Right. His has 2 pieces of paper stapled to it, because that was my thing. And those are his pages out of my program book that I did every year. And they're these amazing jumps and leaps and his leg tilt, because I don't think a headshot really does it for a dancer. For an actor, sure. A dancer, I want to see you dance pose. Right, come on. I want to see you in a dance pose. So there's all these papers. So he could always tell from then on who was looking at him, because they were doing this with his picture and resume at the table, and everybody else, they would just go, boom, boom, and his would be like, so he knew when it was him. I lean across him, I tap her on the far shoulder, not the shoulder that's closest to me, the far shoulder, and she turns around and looks at him dead in the eye, like, and I go like that. I stick the resume in his lap, and he goes, hi, I'm here, I'm not in the competition, but I'd love a chance to audition for Radio City. She takes his resume, we watch the rest of the competition, it gets to the end, she turns around and she says, be at Radio City tomorrow at 1 o'clock. You have an audition. Mark's first job, graduating from Penn Hills High School in Pittsburgh, right 2 minutes from my studio. This kid's first job was the Carol of the Bells solo in the Radio City Christmas Spectacular in New York City. A job that guys that were 30 years old were still trying to get. And he was 18, and that was his first gig. And we were there, busloads of us, busloads. And he used to come up on this elevator in the center of the stage and do a whole solo while these people played these big bells on stage. And they've since cut it from the show, but it was a big deal. It was a lot of money, it was a good pay job. And when he came up, the entire, like 3 sections that we took up, the ALDC and all the parents and moms and people that wanted to go to New York City to see the show, just cheered like there was thunderous applause. Everybody downstairs in the theater, in the Radio City underneath the stage were like, yep, they're here. That's his studio. And that's what I remember. And I remember our talks on the phone, because he would call every day, every evening. I had to hear what he had for lunch, what he was having for dinner, who he bumped into, who he saw. I mean, it was every night. And I miss that. I miss that friendship. So there you go. Mark Myers was pretty much the real favorite. I had another favorite too, Katie Hackett, because she had the feet and the legs, and she danced with Mark. That same era. I wish those kids could have been on a TV show. In fact, we could have done the show 15 years earlier. We could have done it with those kids for 5 years and then cut, whole new cast. Next 5 years, like Gianna's age, when her small group advanced and their mothers, woo, not her mom, she was the good one, but the other mothers with that group, whoa, crazy. Yeah, we could have kept doing it. It should have been a reality TV show before Real World, like way back in the day. That was crazy, people. It just was always there. It was always there. There was always kids I put against each other, like Casey and Katie. Ugh, that was a rivalry. And it was Miranda and Caitlin. That was, I mean, it was always in my studio, and I did it to push both of them to get better and better and better. If you don't have anyone to compete with day in and day out at the ballet bar, how are you going to get any better? I mean, come on. Even on Zoom now when I'm teaching, I'll pull up 2 kids, and like they can see each other, and they're challenging each other to be better and better. And now, you know, you have some slugs just sitting around watching it, but then you have others like, oh my God, I want to be like that. So that always happened in my studio. And then, you know, there were those times when you just had that one kid, that special kid that had those feet or those legs or that face, and they just stepped out on stage and you couldn't take your eyes off of them. That was Mark, that was Katie, that was that Asmarat too. I think she's on like her 7th Broadway show. But it was because I elbowed him, handed him that paper, tapped somebody on the shoulder in front of him, that he got that job. He would have never been allowed into the audition had it not been for that networking that happened, or that freak bumping into each other and me knowing who she was. That's his story. But I know what happened, and I'm very proud of him, regardless. Just like Maddie, you know, people talk about it. I'm proud of her regardless. I'm proud of her doing all those numbers on a TV show and winning, setting the bar high. I'm proud of her, but I know other things. I know personal things about her and her life, and I think she needed me back then. I think I was a good influence on her, and I think I was protective of her as well. And I don't think she maybe even realized that. Or who knows what people are telling her and what they're putting in her mind. I don't know. I know everybody thinks that I have these favorites, like 1 or 2 kids. And that's not true. I have tons of favorites. All the kids at one moment or another are my favorite. I mean, that's just the way it is. If I'm sneezing in class and you're the kid that's smart enough to grab the Kleenexes and hand me one, honey, you're gonna be the favorite for the next week or 2. That's for sure. It's just things that happen like that. And some kids are good at going across the floor, some kids are good at leaping, some kids are good at tumbling. You know, everybody has their thing. But that hard work, that work ethic is in all of those kids that become my favorites. And remember, I produce talented, employable, working dancers. That's what you have to remember. And those kids that I know have the talent to go out and work and do this and make a living at it, those are the kids that I have to invest my time, my heart, my kindness to, because those are the kids that are gonna represent me forever, you know? And all the kids in the class though. I'm closer now to kids, students that I had that never won a thing, that never had a title, that never got their round off back tuck. Those are the kids that send a Christmas card. Those are the kids that DM me and say, how are you, Miss Abby? What's happening? Happy New Year. Those kids that you did nothing for. Those are the kids that appreciate their training at the ALDC.